Well, that was not good. I know that the Rockies end up losing this game by a final score of 9-5, but it was not as close as the final score may make it appear. That was just a brutal loss for the Colorado Rockies in their series opening game against the division rival Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's try to make sense of what we just saw at Coors Field on this Monday night, June the 17th, because that was ugly. That was bad. And on top of it all, the Boston Celtics just won the NBA Finals. So, interesting night in the sporting world. We'll break down what we just saw on the baseball diamond between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies on tonight's Locked On Rockies postcast. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Rockies postcast, powered by Mile High Sports. Part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It is the Locked On Sports channel. This is the Locked On Rockies postcast. Had a little bit of a brain fart there for 1 second. Excuse me. Let's restart. 3, 2, 1. This is your Locked On Rockies postcast, and I'm your host, Aniello Piro. Locked On Sports, your team every day. See, brain was just malfunctioning, misfiring a little bit there. But hope everyone is doing all right on this Monday night. And we have to talk about this. Like, this is like the first show. Not that I dread doing any of these shows, but I just don't really know what I just watched. Like, the Rockies were uncompetitive in this game from the moment that the game started. I know they put on some runs at the end of the game there in the bottom of the ninth inning, but too little, too late for the Rockies in this ball game as they lose to the Los Angeles Dodgers 9-5. And look, the loss is not a surprising outcome. I was on record saying that I think that the best case scenario for the Rockies in this series is a split where they win 2 games and the Dodgers win 2 games. It doesn't even look like that's going to be the case. And look, I know it's just one game. It is what it is. And maybe I should take some of my own advice or, rest on my own laurels, which is, it doesn't matter if you lose a game 9-5 or lose a game 1-0. A loss is a loss, a win is a win. So we go on to the next now for the Colorado Rockies, but no life, no heart, no passion from the Rockies tonight. I would say they just looked like they rolled over. They just looked like a dog that, is just hanging out in the field waiting for its day, just not, that's probably an awful comparison, but just not a lot of life. And I'm seeing here Buddy Black talking Cal Quantrill tonight, 99 pitches, 63 of them strikes. We'll go over his line a little bit later on in the program, but just a disappointing overall performance for the Colorado Rockies. And I forget if I said this already, but today's episode of the Locked On Rockies postcast is presented by our friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms, they do apply. Be sure to check out our friends over at Game Time. More from them here in just a few minutes as well. But just an ugly game for the Rockies tonight. I'm doing it live. I'm looking at the bullpen here. I mean, the Dodgers had 14 hits to the Rockies 6. The Rockies were 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position compared to just the Dodgers had 15 at-bats with runners in scoring position. That's one game, not the whole series. One game. The Dodgers had 15 at-bats with runners in scoring position. If that doesn't sum up this game between the Rockies and the Dodgers, I don't really know what does, because that was, just like I said, guys, just an absolutely pitiful performance. And let's work backwards, shall we? Let's start. I usually like to go in chronological order, but for today's show, let's go ahead and work backwards because, like I said, I believe it was 9-1? Yeah, 9-1 going into the bottom of the ninth, and I'm not even going to lie, I kind of tuned it out at the end there. I was like, all right, we got to the 7th inning. I was like, this is inevitable. Obviously, I'm keeping tabs on it because I know I got to talk about it here on the postcast, but I was like, they're not winning this game. And this is me, Mr. Optimist, who likes to think that, hey, this Rockies team isn't as bad as people think. They got some pitching. Ezequiel Tovar should be an all-star, all of which are still true. The starting pitching's been all right, but Ezequiel Tovar should absolutely be an all-star. I'll talk about him a little bit later on in the program today here on the Locked On Rockies postcast. But so let's start in reverse here because let's get a little bit of good out there before we talk about a lot of bad, because there was a lot of bad in this game for the Rockies. But bottom of the ninth inning, the Rockies do or die time. They have 3 outs remaining. They're down to their final 3, rather, I should say. And, they actually were able to put up some runs, but the first two runners, or hitters, I should say, rather, record out. So Nolan Jones flies out to center field. That's the first out of the inning. And then Ezekiel Tovar, he hits a fly out to center field as well. So those are the first two outs, both to Andy Paez of the Los Angeles Dodgers out there in center field. But then the Rockies actually start to turn it on. And we all know that they come up short, but I guess nice to see a little bit of fight from the Rockies. And it starts with pinch hitter Greg Jones, who replaced Jacob Stallings in the lineup. And Greg Jones, not only his first major league home run, or his first major league hit, or what am I saying? Not only his first major league home run, but also his first major league hit. I was right the first time. He hits a home run to right field, and that gives the Rockies their second run of the game and narrows the gap to 9-2. So obviously the Rockies at this point, shout out to Greg Jones though, man. He struggled a little bit in the he's probably been up for close to 2 weeks now, I want to say, maybe 10 days or so. I think he made his Rockies debut in that series against the Cardinals, if memory serves me correct. But it's not like he's been a guy who's been up with the club all season. But he has not been a positive asset for the Rockies offensively until tonight's game. Like I said, recording his first major league hit, and it happens to be a home run. So it's also his first major league home run. So shout out a tip of the cap to Greg Jones, who obviously they acquired in that trade with the Tampa Bay Rays, I want to say off the top of my head as well. So with two outs, not giving up. So like I said, you gotta give a tip of the cap there. Like, quality at bat for a young player, who at one point had a lot of potential as a big league player. It's taken him a little bit longer than most had anticipated for him to develop at the major league level, but he's able to get the job done and at least do something positive, contributing off the bench for the Rockies with that pinch hit home run. And then Michael Toglia, who's actually been pretty good for the Rockies as well, made some good defensive plays tonight. Cal Quantrill speaking right now as well. We'll get to him, like I said, in the second segment. But after the Greg Jones home run, Michael Toglia hits his first double of the year. That's hard to believe, on a fly ball to left field. So that gives the Rockies a runner on second with two outs. And then Elevis Montero rips his 10th double of the season on a line drive to left field as well. So back-to-back doubles to left field. That narrows the gap, and Toglia came around to score on that base hit from Montero. So that narrows the gap to 9-3. And then Hunter Goodman, who was the hero in that lone victory against the Pittsburgh Pirates on Saturday, he does his job and is able to narrow this thing to 9-5, belting a 2-run home run to left center field. And at this point, like I think I tweeted it out at Media by AP. I was like, WTF, Rockies? Like, what the frig is going on? Like, I don't know what's going on with this team. Like, am I gonna have to rewrite this? Am I gonna have to reconfigure some of these notes and figure out some different talking points? Am I gonna talk about an epic comeback instead of an utter defeat and an embarrassment? That was not the case, though, as that's where the party would end for the Colorado Rockies in regards to scoring. That was the Hunter Goodman 2-run shot with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, narrowed the gap to 9-5. And then Alan Trejo proceeds to strike out and record the final out of the ball game. So that is unfortunate, as the Rockies just, in my opinion, they kind of did this yesterday. What was the final score? Hold on. Rockies, I should remember since I did it like a little over 24 hours ago, but it was also Father's Day. What was the final score in this one? Oh, it was 8-2, but they finished with 9 base hits to the Rockies. And I want to say, I think I had it in my notes here. Hold on, bear with me. Yeah, this was before the Rockies started piling on the runs at the end of the game. So they had 16 hits, the Rockies did, in Saturday's win against the Pittsburgh Pirates in that 16-4 victory. They had 8 hits combined in the other 2 games of the series. That, I believe, was before the 9th inning yesterday, where the Rockies managed to string together a couple of base hits. But the common denominator here with the Rockies, I feel like for a majority of June, has just been that June gloom offensively. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this Rockies offense right now, just to be honest with you. I mean, just another lackluster day at the offense, or lackluster day at the office for the offense. There's a new tongue twister. If we got any teachers out there, that's probably one you could teach to the kids, when it comes to the tongue twisters and whatnot. But they finished with just 6 base hits tonight and not much cooking. Nolan Jones has a base hit. Let's see. Jacob Stallings has a base hit. We mentioned Greg Jones, who has a base hit home run, or a pinch hit home run, rather, I should say. Michael Toglia has a base hit. Elevis Montero, nice, had that double deal. Like, a lot of these are like throwaway hits. I should have been tracking to see how many hits they had before the 9th inning. Well, let's see. I believe they had 3 hits entering into the 9th inning. They add 3 hits in the middle of the 9th inning. But if my quick mental math is correct, I mean, they had no more than 4 hits going into the 9th inning. Let's leave it at that, which is any way you slice it, just an embarrassment and no way to consistently try to compete in winning these games. And remember, like the one lone optimistic point of view that I love to harp on is their record, which is now, I want to say it's probably even 500, but they've actually fared pretty well against teams with a record above 500. That was not the case tonight, as the Rockies are just dismantled, outclassed, outplayed by the better team tonight in the Los Angeles Dodgers, in my opinion. Your final score 9-5. So Cal Quantrill was, and I think that's the other disappointing part, right? This isn't a Dakota Hudson scapegoat game where you can just sit back and be like, well, the Rockies don't give Dakota Hudson run support, or insert starting pitcher not named Cal Quantrill here. And you can like Cal Quantrill has been the Rockies' best starting pitcher for a majority of this season and one of the best starting pitchers in all of the National League since the month of May. But this start tonight did not go his way. He was fine. Like I wouldn't say that he was like a disaster and just like everything blew up in his face, but just not good enough. And when your offense is struggling and your offense is slumping like they are right now, you're not going to set yourself up for success on a consistent basis. So, we know the Dodgers have their number. We know it's, what this team is going to do. We know that their fans travel well. I was surprised the ballpark was as packed as it was tonight. I saw my guy Patrick Lyons put out a tweet on X, and the ballpark was looking pretty full tonight for a Monday night, to say the least. So, all in all, a disappointing outcome for the Colorado Rockies with the final score of 9-5. Let's hit a quick break. When we come back, let's dive into Cal Quantrill's stats, and then I've also got some depressing thoughts about the Rockies because you'd be surprised at just how many teams are in the NL playoff race right now, and the Rockies are not one of them. If they could just up the ante a little bit, play 500 ball, the Rockies would actually, believe it or not, find themselves in the middle of the MLB National League postseason race. But they're unable to do that because their offense is not playing well right now, and their starting pitching and their bullpen pitching is just a mess. So let's hit a break. We'll come back. We'll do just that, talk about Cal Quantrill, and talk about this game in particular right here on your Locked On Rockies postcast. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Stitch Fix real quick, because that instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look really good? That's what I get with Stitch Fix. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites that will work just for you. I just give my stylist my size, my style, and my budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want, no subscriptions required. And they send me 5 just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. I keep what works and send back the rest. My stylist always sends just the right pieces, and the fit is on point. I'm serious, guys. It's like they have a degree in this line of business or something. I don't know how they do it, but my friends over at Stitch Fix just get me. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. I don't like to shop, and I know some of you out there don't like to shop either, and they save me that time and effort each and every time I order with Stitch Fix. Plus, I get outfits that make me look good and feel really good as well. And if you don't love something, just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free with our friends over at Stitch Fix. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Now's the best time to get started at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $100 off. That's $25 off your first 4 fixes for a limited time only. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $100 off. stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign up. Offer does not include kids fixes, but be sure to get involved with our friends over at Stitch Fix, guys. Summer is here. Get yourself some fresh outfits. Get yourself some fresh shirts. And our friends over at Stitch Fix at stitchfix.com/MLB are going to do just that for you. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Rockies postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro, Locked On Sports, your team every day, and hope you guys are hanging in there on this Monday night. The Boston Celtics win the NBA Finals, and the Rockies don't really give us anything to talk about in a positive manner outside of a little sentimental, right? A little, what's the word that I'm looking for? Greg Jones' first big league hit. It's a home run, so kind of like some happy tears. I'm missing a word here. If anyone knows, drop it in the comments. But like something to feel happy about, something to feel proud about. But at the end of the day, 1 + 1 not equaling 2 when it comes to the sum of the parts here. for the Colorado Rockies. And as we mentioned, just 6 base hits in this game tonight to the Dodgers 14. The Dodgers did commit one error, but it did not matter as the Dodgers go on. I mean, I'm just looking at the box score right now. I mean, the Rockies held them in check. It was 3-1 for a good chunk of this ball game until we got to the 7th inning. I mean, the Dodgers were scoreless in the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, and they have 2 runs in the 7th, 2 runs in the 8th, and then 2 runs in the 9th. So there's 6 runs collectively in the 3 most critical innings of the game. I mean, like I said, the Rockies were in this game for a minute, and they were just unable to, muster up any sort of consistency on offense, which is just disappointing because, look, I know it's the Dodgers. Like I've said, these are games that they're not going to win more often than not, but tonight, they had a chance to be in this. They were in this game, for lack of a better phrase. They could have won this game, but the pitching was just not there for them in totality, or the hitting, rather, I should say, was not there for them tonight in totality. But speaking of the pitching, let's take a look at it here. Let's start with the Dodgers real quick because James Paxton, he turned back the clock tonight, and he's been phenomenal. His ERA was under 4 entering into this game, which is not a surprise for somebody that pitches for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but he improves his record to 7-1. And look, if you're a baseball guy or gal, you know that wins and losses are not the end-all be-all when it comes to, the effectiveness or the success of a pitcher on the mound any given night or any 5th day, whatever it might be. But a 7-1 record to me is indicative of playing on a very, very well put together team, because that means not only is your starting pitcher doing his job, but the offense is consistently, 7 wins. And look, I know it's June 17th. We're nearing that middle portion of the season, but when it's all said and done, I the only way you have a 7-1 record right now is if your offense is picking you up. Ask Dakota Hudson, ask Cal Quantrill how the Rockies offense has been picking them up as of late. And look, they're not going to say anything. They're gentlemen. They're classy guys. They're going to just keep on keeping on with it. But I can guarantee you, without even talking to these guys, I know that's got to be frustrating when you go out there and maybe aren't lights out, but are good enough to keep yourself in games or keep your team in games, and the offense is just unable to muster up any source of production. That's frustrating. So James Paxton tonight, absolutely dealing. He goes 7 innings, gives up a mere 2 hits, 1 run, it was earned, 1 walk, and strikes out 8 batters. Man, I mean, James Paxton just mowed them down tonight. The Rockies, like I said, just lifeless for the most part tonight on the offense. And it is worth noting, let's see, no Ryan McMahon tonight, no Charlie Blackmon for the Rockies tonight. So, specifically with McMahon, we know that Diaz has been out as well. But, so you don't have some of your bigger guys in there. But when it's all said and done, I mean, just come on. Just embarrassing. And like I said, I know that they end up showing a little bit of life there in the 9th inning, but nothing to really make you feel good about their chances throughout the course of this game. It was kind of just throwaway runs, throwaway hits. Like, okay, yay. Like Greg Jones, everyone stand up and clap. Like, fantastic. But in regards to having an impact on the outcome of the game, that was not going to happen over the course of what happened in the 9th inning. So it's unfortunate, but let's take a look here at Cal Quantrill, who's been, like I said, one of the Rockies' best pitchers. His ERA on the year is sitting at 3.43. I mean, he's 6-5, so just 1 win less than James Paxton at this point. And like I said, he was fine. He ran into some trouble, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits. Okay, maybe a little high in the hit department. 3 earned runs, maybe a little high there. 3 walks, that's definitely high, and 3 strikeouts. So he's the master of threes tonight. 4 threes across the board. 3 runs, all of them earned. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So death by threes is how I'll talk about it for Cal Quantrill tonight. But I know, and I forget what inning it was, but there was the Ohtani stealing second, and he probably should have been ruled out. The Rockies challenged it, but it wasn't conclusive. Adiel Amador, looked like he had grazed the thigh area of Shohei Ohtani before his leg came in to touch the bag. But the Dodgers end up getting ruled safe, and that ends up, leading to this ballooning of runs for the Dodgers as they're able to just pile it on throughout the night. Some history was made tonight, though, as Freddie Freeman, just 1 official recorded at bat tonight. That's because he walked 5 times. And I heard Drew Goodman and Corey Sullivan talking about this on the broadcast, so a tip of the cap to them for this information. Freddie Freeman is just the 2nd player in the history of since the Rockies organization has existed to record 5 walks in a single game playing in Colorado. The only other time that had happened in Rockies franchise history, or since the Rockies has been a franchise, was in that 2007 Cinderella season when Todd Helton apparently generated 5 walks in a game. So 5 walks, I mean, that's not easy to do. But a professional hitter, a guy who's been around the block, I expect nothing less from a guy like, I shouldn't say that, not nothing less, but like, if there was a guy that I probably point to in the lineup and said who's going to get multiple walks in a game, I'm probably pointing to Freddie Freeman, just because he's a guy, like I said, who's a veteran, been there, done that, been around the block. But yeah, he finishes with 5 walks today, which is not good. And like I said, that Cal Quantrill surrendered 3 walks on the afternoon today. So it's frustrating whichever way you slice it for the Rockies today, because just not a lot cooking for them. Like I said, like usually you see some fight. I saw no fight today. No fight. And look, I'm going to do some of the crossover episodes the rest of this week with my guy Pete, and we'll get the Dodgers perspective of it. But like they did not look like a team that was ready to play today. I'll leave it at that. So we'll see. Let me throw this out there as well. Jacob Stallings hit a home run, his 4th of the season. In the bottom of the 2nd inning, it was a home run to center field. And that brought it within 3-1. And think about this. The score was 3-1 until that 7th inning. So the Rockies, like I said, Cal Quantrill was fine, good enough, or at least keep it competitive, I should say. And the Rockies offense, like, I don't know what's going on. I'll be at the ballpark tomorrow, so I'll try to, get in the clubhouse, talk to some of these guys, listen to what Buddy has to say. Are we just in that midsummer lull? Is it something else? I don't know. But if the Rockies offense is going to continue to play like this the rest of the year, they're not going to have much of a chance whatsoever in these games. So we shall see what happens. But let's hit a quick break, our final break. When we come back, I'll put a bow on the show. I've got some thoughts about the National League standings as a whole, and we'll take a look forward to what's going on tomorrow between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. Stick with us right here on your Locked On Rockies postcast. Back in a minute. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Game Time, and listen up, because I'm an active Game Time user. I'm about to use it. I'm wearing my Grateful Dead hat. I'm going to see Dead & Company right around the 4th of July in Vegas at the Sphere. Don't have my tickets yet. You know where I'm checking? Game Time. I'm going to Wrigley Field this weekend to see the Mets take on the Cubs. And shout out to my guy Grimace. Let's go, Grimace. I'm a diehard Met fan from when I was a kid. I've covered the Rockies professionally for a long time, but Grimace, Game Time, Grimace, geez. My guy. But I'm going to be getting tickets to the Mets Cubs series via Game Time as well. But let's talk about him here real quick, guys, because Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. They've got a ton of different features like last-minute ticket deals, flash deals, zone deals, easy to find and buy Major League Baseball tickets for every kind of event in your area. You can get views from your seats in the venue, your lowest price guarantee as well, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. You're going to get all of that with our friends over at Game Time. And let's talk about some of these features with our friends over at Game Time. Those last-minute deals, guys, you're going to save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, all that good stuff with our friends over at Game Time. Flash deals, save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or the event. Zone deals, save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats for you. All-in pricing. This is my favorite. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. The seat views is a great feature as well, guys, because you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And the lowest ticket price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage as well. Your purchase is fully covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets with Game Time, guys. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms, they do apply, but again, create an account and redeem with code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. If you're not signed up with Game Time yet, I'm telling you guys, take advantage of their deal with our friends here at Locked On Sports. Baseball's here. Euro Cup. I doubt there's anyone in Europe listening, but there's plenty of sporting events or concerts, theater, comedy. Our friends over at Game Time are going to take great care of you. Let them know that Locked On MLB sent ya. All right. Welcome on back. And I'm going to do this last part live because I want to see if I can get some up. Oh, dang. Did that take a minute? Sorry. Let me restart that. Hello. Welcome on back to your Locked On Rockies postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. Hope you guys are doing well out there. And I'm bringing this up live because I was talking about it with the great Sandy Clough today at the studio. And Sandy's a big baseball guy, as am I. And you want to know the depressing part about this Rockies team? This is the depressing part. A majority of the National League right now is in the postseason hunt, except two teams, the Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins. Those are the two teams that are just not even sniffing the Major League Baseball playoffs right now. So if the MLB regular season ended today, the Atlanta Braves at 39-31 would get in. The St. Louis Cardinals, who the Rockies just played, at 36-35 would get in. The San Francisco Giants would get in. Or it'd be a coin flip between the Giants and the Nationals as they're both right. They have the same winning percentage here. So Braves, Cardinals, Giants. Season ends today, they're probably all in, right? Or Braves, Cardinals, Giants. Season ends today, they're all in. Washington not far behind them. San Diego Padres, a team in the National League West, a half game behind them at 37-39. Diamondbacks, 35-37, a team in the World Series last year, a half game behind a playoff spot. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who the Rockies just played, 35-37, a half game behind a playoff spot. The New York Mets, who are red hot because of Grimace, 34-37, one game back of a spot in the National League wild card. The Cincinnati Reds, who the Rockies just played, 34-38, a game and a half behind a spot in the National League postseason. The Chicago Cubs, who have been struggling, 34-39, two games behind of a spot in the National League wild card. And then the Rockies at 25-47. The Rockies are 10 and a half games behind the wild card race. They are not even going to sniff it. The Rockies and the Marlins. The Rockies are 10 and a half back of a spot in the National League playoffs in the wild card race, and the Marlins are 12 and a half back. Literally every other team in the National League has a chance to make the postseason for the most part, except, bearing a miracle, the Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins. I mean, look at this. Phillies leading their division. Dodgers leading their division. Brewers leading their division. Braves, Cardinals, Giants, all in good position. And then you've got, let's see, the Nationals, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Pirates, the Mets, the Reds, the Cubs, all of those teams in the hunt at some point or another as we find ourselves in the middle of June. And then you've got the Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins bringing up the rear. Frustrating. You're one of two Rockies fans, listen up. You're one of two teams in the entire National League that has virtually zero chance to make the postseason. And look, I love the young talent as much as everybody else. I love Tovar. He's great. I think Amador has a lot of promise. I think Nolan Jones, now that he's back, great. McMahon's playing well. But this is why you need to look to make moves at the deadline and build for another day, because you're not sniffing the playoffs. Think about this. Every team except you and the Miami Marlins are in contention for the Major League Baseball playoffs right now. And look, you could point to the Chris Bryant situation, whatever it might be. There's a lot of moving factors with this Rockies club. But the reality situation is you're not sniffing this postseason. So what good does it do to keep Elias Diaz? What good does it do to keep Ryan McMahon? What good does it do to keep some of these veterans? I don't know. We got a couple of comments. Let's see what's going on. Go Dodgers, BC, hey man. Y'all are the better team. Hey, you got one Mickey Mouse World Series, though. I will talk some smack about the Dodgers. Come on now. You got to get a legitimate ring in this, non-60 game MLB season. Congratulations. You beat the Rockies. It is what it is. I appreciate the comment as always, my friend. But, let's see. You got much like the Celtics, right? The Celtics just won their first big NBA finals. The Lakers, who I'm sure you're a fan of as well, if you're a Los Angeles sports fan, a little bit of a Mickey Mouse ring, in my opinion. Dodgers, little Mickey Mouse ring. It is, Disneyland out there in Orange County and Anaheim and whatnot. But like I said, it's just disappointing for the Rockies because they lose tonight 9-5, just lifeless in this game for the most part. And here's the one nice thing about the Dodgers being in your division. You get to watch Shohei Ohtani more than you did when he played for the Angels, or he gets to come to your ballpark more than he did when he played for the Angels. So we'll see what the Rockies have in store for us tomorrow. Let's take a look at the probable pitching matchup. Rockies probable pitchers. It comes right up for me because I type it in essentially every single day. And it's looking like it'll be Walker Buehler, who's been struggling this year on the mound for the Dodgers. He's 1-4 with a 4.64 earned run average. going up against Austin Gomber, who has not been good in his last couple of starts, 1-4 with a 4.26 ERA, 49 strikeouts on the season for Mr. Gomber. So we shall see what happens as we move forward in this game. So in this series, rather, I should say. Like I said, before the series started, before the homestand started, I said the Rockies would be lucky to split this series 2-2 off to a bad start tonight with just a lifeless performance as they lose tonight 9-5. So like I said, my big theme of the day, pitching's got to get figured out, the bullpen, but the offense, most importantly, you got to figure out the offense. There's no reason for them, specifically at Coors Field, to be as bad as they've been outside of Saturday's game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But again, the Rockies and the Marlins, the only two teams that have essentially no vision for the playoffs, no faith, no, nothing to shoot for. Obviously, you want to strive for the playoffs, but just not a realistic chance whatsoever at this point in time for the Rockies to make the playoffs, which is disappointing because literally every other team not named the Rockies or the Marlins is in the hunt for a spot in the National League playoffs. The Rockies, one of two teams that are completely on the outside looking in. Frustrating. We'll see what happens. But all right, that's going to do it for me on tonight's Locked On Rockies postcast. Appreciate you guys as always. You can follow me on social media at Media by AP, and make sure to smash that subscribe button on the brand spanking new Locked On Denver Sports YouTube channel. We just started it up. Lots of content on the way once we get back around to the fall and winter seasons. The Nuggets, the Avalanche, the Broncos, the Buffs. There's a lot of content planned. So make sure to smash that subscribe button because we're going to have you covered all the time right here on the Locked On Denver Sports YouTube channel. But that's going to do it for me, folks. Rockies lose tonight 9-5. We'll see what they can do in the second game of the series tomorrow against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Talk to you guys then. Enjoy your Monday night, and we'll see what they have in store for us on Tuesday. Should have my video pulled up. Here we go. Adios.